Radio TT 365, the best biking station in the world.
Guy Martin, you said before what an unusual character he is, and we know that. I've interviewed him on a few occasions, and quite recently, in fact, during the winter time. And do you think you know Guy? I mean, from from the book, you've described Guy to the reader exactly the way I would describe it, except I couldn't put it in the words that you've put it in because you're a writer and I'm not. Do you feel you understand him?
No. Although having said that, I mean, I think there's a lot of bluster with Guy, and if you scratch beneath the surface, I think he's actually quite deep.
Very.
You know,
the surface is very deep.
Yeah, it is.
Deep,
but you know, I mean, he loves to sort of play the maverick, and he loves to play the fact that he doesn't care and he's just driving around here for fun, and you know, winning or losing, it doesn't matter to him. But it does. I mean, it's why he still keeps coming back, you know, because he can't win one. I mean, it'd be interesting to see if he ever does win one, what does happen, because he keeps threatening that will be it, and he'll go off and climb Mount Everest or, you know, do something else. But I don't think he'll be able to give it up. But he is an interesting character, and as I say, I mean, my day job is covering other sports for the Times, really. And if we had someone like that in rugby or football or golf or anything, then every sports editor in the country would be doing cartwheels, because there are no personalities like that anywhere else in sport.
We did speculate on the fact what would he do after his first TT win, to the point that John, who was on the same panel of a chat show I hosted back in the winter time, said, so if you won the Superbike race, i.e. last Saturday, does that mean you'd pack up and go home? And Guy pondered for a while and said, oh, I never thought of it that way, you know. But he, without doubt, is the most popular person within motorcycle racing in the UK today. I mean, that for me... He
is, but I think that there's definitely an undercurrent of people feeling he doesn't deserve that sort of profile. Not least amongst the riders.
exactly. Not least the riders, and he attracts a little bit of, quite a lot of criticism on that.
But the thing with Guy is, I mean, he can change his mind within the course of a sentence. So when he says, I'm going to quit, then he'll say, no, I'm going to carry on. I remember him telling me he'll never get married. Oh, I'm getting, and then you see him, he says, I'm getting married. You know, he's a scattergun, sort of scatterbrain, but there is something going on deep there, and I think he has got other goals. I mean, I think he's genuine. He would like to go climb Mount Everest. He's told me that.
Yeah, I'm sure, and he would do it as well, wouldn't he? He wouldn't be surprised at all. But I know that if he, I mean, unfortunately, things haven't been going particularly well from this TT up to now. I mean, there are people with worse TTs up to now. Look at John Holden. I must make mention of John Holden, and sadly, Sidecar Races John Holden had a terrible practice and terrible first race, only getting as far as Glen Helen on lap 1, and then had the accident yesterday. And then I think he's okay. Any updates, incidentally, on John Holden will be much appreciated. But the TT can be like that, and it's just not working for Guy this year.
You do wonder whether it's ever going to quite happen for him. I mean, I remember speaking to Philip Neal about it, and we had a long chat, and he said, you know, after the Superbike, after the senior last year, he said, you know, he had that fantastic start. He said, why couldn't he do it every lap? You know, because he faded, and that, you know, there's this theory going around that is it fitness, but then Guy's one of the fittest guys around when you compare him to John. Yeah. So what is it? And Philip said it's not the bike, it's not the tyres, it's just something that goes on with Guy. And he said he sat him down and they talked about it and they thrashed it out, but then he said the lights were on, but then he probably went back to thinking about potato picking, sort of, you know, before too long. Maybe he has got too many distractions.
Yeah, possibly. But we did think last year, didn't we? In fact, I did a chat show with Hutchie last year on the morning of the senior race, and one or two others, I can't remember who. And we said, what's it going to take for Guy to win a race? And we all had our own views on that. And
I bet Hutchie had a lot of views on that.
Well, he did, yeah. But in fairness, he was very diplomatic indeed. And so we discussed it and all put a point of view forward. And I happened to be in the grandstand to watch that senior race, most unusual for me, but I was last year. And when Guy came in for his pit stop, I can't remember exactly what the advantage was, but with a reasonably healthy advantage over John after 2 laps. I thought, crikey, maybe he was listening to it this morning, and we've given him a bit of a pep talk, and he's going to do it. It's an fascinating thing for me as well. It didn't stop just there, and there's many different facets to what you've been involved in. But if I looked at page 190, Project Thrust, we make Norton.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
and the quote at the top is, "We make Norton frames. It's the same, only bigger." And that was for Richard Noble, and there's some good pictures of you beavering away there and making the chassis for Thrust. That must have been some project.
The problem with that, of course, was that we had the meeting when I made that remark about that we could make it, but John Ackroyd, the designer, couldn't be taken on. They hadn't got the money to take him on. He was actually working for Porsche, and it was 12 months before he tidied up the design to give me to make. And in that 12 months, the company had changed direction and nobody wanted to know. So I was left entirely on my own to do it.
Really?
And yes, we made it. And
now, looking at that there, was it all 531?
Yes,
it was all 531. I guess it must have
basically 2 1/4 square, 16 gauge 531.
Must have had a heck of a weight to it then, because it's a big chassis.
It weighed about half a ton, the chassis completed. It was something like 30 foot long, 10 foot wide, and I don't know, 6 or 8 foot high.
Incredible. A lot of welding went into that then?
Yes, yes.
Was that bronze welded or?
No, it was arc welded. I did have, I say I did it all myself, I didn't do the welding. We had one of the company's aircraft welders to do all the welding. I did all the fitting and setting up and etc.
Was that the Obadera first of all, and then the Canary Islands? So,
as long as you don't start playing tricks on everybody in
well,
the
that's the problem, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, even to the extent I came up here the other day on my bike, Parish walked past, and I thought, I wonder if my bike will start. And it did start actually, but there was a heavy ticking noise because one of the plug leads had been pulled off.
Yeah.
And you just know, don't you? You just know with Steve that there's always going to be something.
I've played a few tricks on him, but it really bounces back a bit too much, really.
It's not worth it, is it?
Especially in Macau, where we've been down to the fish shop and bought some large cods and gone and stole his key and put them in his air conditioning unit and things like that many years ago. And you find you go back to your bedroom about 5 minutes later and it's stuffed in the bottom of your bed when you put your feet in there.
Yeah, so it's just not worth it, is it? You just your best, really.
Manx Radio TT 365, the best biking station in the world.